Thank you, moderator of this session, and good morning to all of you. As Mr. Razdan said, the moment is very solemn, but as they say, we must do our part of the work, and that's why we are all here to explore this aspect about how do we really manage the India's energy security. Before that, I must really thank the organizers for awarding me with Excellence, Global Excellence Award. I feel overwhelmed and singularly privileged to receive this. Mr. Razdan, whom I had a privilege of working such a wonderful relationship when I was with NTPC, formerly when I was in atomic energy. He was also in atomic energy as a joint secretary. Then he moved into Delhi, into MOPNG. I moved into NTPC from BARC into NTPC, and then he became the secretary, Ministry of Power. And I used to remember wonderful because carbon capture and sequestration and zero emission was something which was the flavor at that time. And we used to partner because he had a tremendous kind of a thing coming from atomic energy, getting into the scientific depth, and being also, he always used to tell me, Dr. Sonde, I'm also a physicist, more than an administrator and a legal person. So there were a lot of beautiful moments that I always remember, cherish working with Mr. Razdan. So thank you, sir, and Dr. Anil Garg for awarding me with this and recognizing this particular award. And I've been also a little bit alerted by Dr. Garg and our chairman of the session that I must keep my technical content to a little lower level so that I can get into a little more fundamental aspects, because the kind of students and audience that I'm seeing perks me up that I must really bring it and keep it very simple. So my first slide is coal as reinventing as a green fuel. I'm telling you, you go to any part of the world, and I was about 6 months back delivering a talk in Istanbul on the World Energy Conference. It was jointly sponsored by IEA and EU Consortium. And what I could see the contradiction there, and I would like to bring it to all your notice, every nation, especially developing nation, knows that their energy security, even for next 4 decades, will rest on coal. My dear friends, please note this statement that I'm making there. Every nation, our own nation, we have actually made entire mapping for 2050. Even then, 55% of our energy will continue to come from coal. And this is a global perception also, that coal will remain as the backbone of energy. The conundrum there is, on the other hand, they say, oh, coal is untouchable. We should not go to coal because coal is dirty. So the finances, the bankers, the people with the funding agents do not want to touch coal because it is not fashionable now to talk about the coal. So in a hush-hushed voice, they say coal is going to continue to remain, and in an open voice, they condemn coal. This is not acceptable. Let us not blame coal because it is having this energy, but also has got some indirect effect which can be handled. It is the human incompetence to handle coal in a greener way than blaming the coal. It's like happening in the plastics. Plastic, let me tell you, Zikar Natta, when he created, is still continues one of the most wonderful molecules. Today, people are repulsing plastic because of our irresponsibility, our incapability. I'm talking about our, means the humanities, the Homo sapiens incapability to handle that. And that is also happening, coal, and especially India, which is now going controlled by this oil and gas lobby, $140 billion, and all that is happening. And I was just talking to Mr. Razdan that from this oil lobby, we seem to be going into the battery lobby of lithium and cobalt, which is again going to be controlled by 2 nations, and you know whom I'm referring to in the global community. India should look at coal as a major, major strength and bring all our intellect, all our knowledge, all our development in order to make the coal, because we are given a huge obligations, extraordinary obligation for COP21, that we are going to be bringing down 30% of our carbon intensity. So coal is going to be there, and we are going to handle the climate change or the carbon part. And these two, when you want to connect it, gasification is, my dear friends, is the way. Now, I have made this first statement, and Chairman, you must tell me whenever I have to stop, I'll just stop it at that point, because there are about 28 slides, and I know the time is not enough. But I just want to tell you, this coal, I mean, don't get scared with this particular map that I've shown. Coal is not Kala Patthar, you know, which is created, and you know those movies and those Second World War movies, creating a huge kind of a thing. Coal is a hydrocarbon. Can you see that? It's an NMR work which I had done when I had joined NTPC with our friends from NMRL. And coal is a complex hydrocarbon. The same process which has happened for oil and gas, millennium years through a microbial and a solar energy, has created this complex phenolic aromatic structure. Why I'm showing this is that let us not glamorize only oil and gas and say that coal is non-glamorous, it is non-sophisticated, it is only carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, it's only some burning calories. It is a huge, important hydrocarbon embedded with a lot of valuable products. And if you are able to smartly handle coal, I think India's fundamental problem of energy and the petrochemicals, because there's a huge requirement. Today, 30% of our imported oil goes for fertilizer, urea, and for the petrochemicals. And if you are able to see this structure, and coal is CH0.14, and if I'm able to add that hydrogen from water, which is a carbon-free energy, using the coal energy, and boost up the hydrogen component and make it CH, whatever that you want to do, and I'll show you what we are doing. I'm the chairman of the National Committee on Niti Aayog on methanol. I'm very high on methanol as the lowest carbon hydrogen carrier. Mark these words, lowest carbon hydrogen carrier, because if you're going to be talking about coal to a clean energy via hydrogen route, methanol is the mechanism by which you do this. I don't know, I'm kind of throw a lot of ideas, but I just want you to capture that time has come to make the conversion happening to take the dual advantage for our country. The dual advantage is free India from whatever those lobby of oil and gas, and also, I mean, we are Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's our core philosophy. We will honor the climate change because that's required for the survival of humanity. If you want to address these two problems, which is so paramount for our country, coal will continue, but the way that you have to handle coal will be vastly different. It has to reinvent, it has to metamorphose, it has to mutate in a very different manner. Well, I don't know to say India has got a coal. Today we are consuming about 500 million tons. We have got easily 200 billion tons. That means 400 years coal will remain at the current consumption. And if I convert another 500 million tons for getting oil and gas, coal gas, which is going ultimately to hydrogen, then India may consume 1 billion tons. My dear friends, China consumes 3.8 billion tons. US consumes, even with all its shale gas, consumes about 0.8 billion tons. India, with all its issues, can easily ramp up our requirement to about 1 billion ton per year, which would mean we have got enough resources. The clear trends, I mean, you just take the macro level energy scenario. Again, you don't have to go through because each one would call for a detailed explanation from me, but electricity consumption has remained constant. We are getting about 1,100 terawatt hours, and our coal consumption, and probably Piyush will endorse what I'm saying, has remained about 550 to 600 million tons per annum in this country, which is, even given our size, we should have consumed at least 1 billion ton. I remember when we were discussing with Mr. Razdan and we were looking at our coal, I had made a particular thing to him, 2006 I'm talking, where India should ramp it up to about 1 billion ton, if not more. But we are still at about 600, which means our carbon emissions are very low. That's because efficiency, Bureau of Energy Efficiency has done a wonderful work, energy intensity has improved, and the renewable energy has come in. So absolutely wonderful thing that is happening on the electricity sector. But gas and oil imports have remained all-time high. And you know how the current account deficit is being creating a huge stress on our economy. We need to be looking at it. Emission regulation, I'm extremely happy. I mean, when I go to my own alma mater in NTPC, they say, oh, Dr. Sonde, what is this, SOx, NOx, how do you bring it down? I said, no. I think the responsibility of all of us as engineers and scientists is extract the energy, but don't get into the conflict of environment. I think we need to look at, even before we talk about carbon, the SOx, NOx, mercury, particulate matter are extremely important. And today technologies are available. Don't tell me that we have to spend X more crores per megawatt if you want to add this. Today, enormous technological breakthroughs are happening in ensuring that you're able to get this. Coal has to reinvent, therefore, my dear friends, as a green coal. I have done this analysis. In 2040, India will have about 50% coal and renewable energy will go. All other energy, my own nuclear energy, which I have stopped now talking, will all collapse. And these are the two peaks that India has to depend. So if going to be renewable energy and if it's going to be coal, what is I'm proposing to you as a technology, and we are working with Niti Aayog, is renewable solar, fossil coal, and biomass to generate hydrogen or hydrogen carriers. I don't know whether you are able to connect this. I'll show you a flow sheet how it gets connected. So it is the coal and the carbon dioxide from coal, hydrogen from water, electrolysis of electricity from solar PV will generate hydrogen and its derivatives, which is known as either methanol or we call it LOHC, liquid organic hydrogen carriers, LOHC. And if you do that, and what I'm talking, there's a huge amount of work that is happening on this space, then you will find that all your e-mobility need not happen on a coal power. E-mobility will happen on the back of fuel cells, which will be run by hydrogen, which will be generated by coal and solar energy. This, my dear friends, is the way, is the pathway that India will follow, is my view, because this is the only way which is going to be virtuous for our country. Well, this is generation. You can generate hydrogen. You fix the hydrogen. You don't have to carry hydrogen in 600 bar pressure or metal hydrides. Just carry it as liquid. That's where the methanol comes. And then use hydrogen as a fuel. And this will meet both India's energy security and, on the other hand, it meets this. So this is a larger picture. I could have spent some time, but I'll just skip it right now. I'm going to keep this presentation here, and the organizers can distribute all of this. So now if you want to do this, what I said just now, we require two big developments. Huge development, indigenous development, India-centric developments. We don't look at anywhere else, which is gasification. As I said, coal has to reinvent as a clean fuel. We need to propagate it. Coal is, let's not create that racial feeling between coal and the gas. I'm sorry, I'm deliberately using it because I've got certain amount of thing. I these days often visit Europe, and still I find that kind of a discrimination. Whereas I want to prove that India today, a new India that we are talking about, is a very different entity. We have enough kind of a resilience to develop our own technologies. Which didn't happen, and that's a different matter. And I know why. Working in atomic energy, we became today one of the global powers in nuclear because we had the determination and we were denied the technology. Other sector didn't happen because somehow we thought technology is available to us, so why get into the know-how portion? Let's work only on the know-how portion. But that's, again, a different. So coal gasification is important, and second is high-efficiency fuel cells. So what is required today to get a clean coal is gasification and converting that into fuel using our own India's HAIC, high ash India coal, because it by itself is a very different animal and that needs to be handled. And if you got these two, then all other aspects, hybridizing with solar power, transport using liquid, everything gets addressed. There are many other things required in this whole, if I want to paint a picture to you all as to how India's energy security for coming decades will pan out. It has to pan out on these two technological development and breakthroughs. Fuel cells, I don't know how many of you know fuel cells, young people? I think there are 4 people knowing here than the other. It's, well, fuel cell is going to be happening. I've made it very clear that India is taking certain e-mobility, but e-mobility on a lithium ion is going to be lethal for us. Because India does not have lithium, India does not have cobalt, India does not have nickel in the cathode chemistry. Get this. So I don't have to go from one crutch of oil and gas to another crutch of imported materials, which is going to create a problem if we want to run all through lithium ion. Whereas hydrogen-based fuel cells, and my dear friends, we have developed this hydrogen fuel cell for India's topmost program. My company, Thermax, I was involved 6 years back developing a phosphoric fuel cell, which out of the 4 big countries which has gone for an AIP, air independent propulsion, it is on the back of India's technology development on the fuel cells. And that same technology we are now going to be using, having methanol, which I'm working with NITI Aayog on a coal gasification, and having an onboard reformer which generates hydrogen. Simple onboard catalytic converter to get you at 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt level, and you can hit a 75% efficiency. I can bet globally, if there is any device which can do better, I am ready to forego my all scientific work that I've done. This is the way that we need to be going forward. Well, since I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm just saying high temperature, just keep this word in you, and then you later on do your investigation. High temperature, proton exchange membrane fuel cell will be the way India will do its e-mobility and stationary, displacing diesel and batteries. Well, coming to methanol economy. Methanol is a wonderful molecule. It can be used as a fuel additive, drop-in fuel. It can be converted into hydrogen in the fuel cell, which is what I'm talking about. It can be converted into dimethyl ether and can be put in the LPG. So it's a wonderful 360 molecule. And this is the building block that I'm working. There's a 60 crore project. In fact, 22nd, there's a mission innovation, which this project will be dedicated by our Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, where we, Thermax and IT Delhi, have developed this entire process. Again, this forum, I cannot get into the details, but this is the whole 7-block program that we have taken up, and this is the way that we and IT Delhi, with the support from NITI Aayog and Department of Science and Technology, Coal Ministry has helped us to get India's highest coal. There's a clear 1,000-ton coal coming for this development, which is going to this. And again, for want of time, I'm not talking to you about all the stations on this metro. From gasification to a cooling to a particulate removal to a methanol reactor. Huge amount of development. Sure. So this is the roadmap for doing it. So in this roadmap, there are 3 important things. One is the gasification of India's highest coal. Second is the cleanup, because you need the right quality gas. CO hydrogen in the ratio of 1:2, and then you need a methanol reactor, which can convert this into the liquid fuel. We are doing it now, and in about next 9 months' time, we'll be delivering this particular product. On this, then we will actually base India's technology of a clean coal using this. Now, he's saying 5 minutes, so for me, it'll be very, very difficult to talk about what is this technology we are talking about. Why the fluid bed technology, bubbling fluid bed, in a circulating mode is one of the best way India has to address. We have discussed all Lurgi technology, moving bed technology, entrant bed technology, shell technology, every technology, and I'm sure some of guys from what I named are here, and I'm ready to have a debate, and we have been having this debate for a high ash coal compared to a very low ash coal or an active coal like the Sasol coal, where you've got a high volatile matter. India's sub-bituminous level, as I showed you earlier, the coal structure is highly, highly compatible to a fluid bed technology. Just take this as a statement. I'm ready for a debate, maybe on the lunch table. So out of all these, entered bed, moving bed, fluid bed is the best one. We have done a lot of work on this fluid bed technology. I'll just skip all this fundamental work that we have done, and these are all pilot plants. We have got 4 pilot plants which are developed in the megawatt scale, and this is one plant which is now being converted into coal into methanol generation, methanol conversion. I would invite you to see this facility. There's a huge amount of work. It's an oxy-blown, high pressure, high ash coal, fluidized bed in a circulating mode gasifier. Today, if you ask me, know why it is required, how it is being done, I can answer all the questions because enormous amount of efforts have gone in. We have worked with various partners, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, CSI laboratories, using the tremendous amount of intellect which is in a group. What is required in India is how do we network all these things? And if we are able to network, and that's what we are doing it, we are able to see this. And this one more, right in capital city where we are doing with EIL, another gasifier. I'm sure some EIL guys may be here, and they may talk. There are a lot of R&D elements. I'll not talk about it. But very clearly, when Dr. Saraswat told me, and we work in the same frequency, every component, it is not being done by only Thermax. We are going to develop right from the catalyst to the reactor, to the cleanup system, to the gasifier, to the equipment that is going into that will be made in India in true sense, because then only you get the cost right. Then only there is no arm twisting on the technology elements. So these are again some parts of the various work that we have done. We are going to do a slurry bed reactor. Slurry bed reactor will allow you to convert CO hydrogen into methanol. Again, I'm getting into some higher, I'll do that. So hydrodynamic reactors, this also I'll just skip it. Expertise, facility, cleanup is an important aspect. We are also working on biomass gasification. Biomass is also a tremendous, today again this debate, where is the biomass? I will assure you surplus biomass in India can displace almost 30% of the coal. 30% of the coal. How to get that biomass? Lowest, after food fodder issue, the one which goes, otherwise which is burnt, and you know the problems, I think, standing in Delhi, I know the problem of stubble burning, you all know what exactly we have to do. And that's where we have developed another technology, which is, this is a beautiful technology of a combining a pyrolysis with a combustion. Now, this is the plant we have set up in heart of this place, Washim, about 200 kilometers from Nagpur, which is using cotton stalk, one of the form of the biomass which is otherwise just allowed to wither away. And we are extracting hydrogen and synthesis gas from this plant. I'm very excited to talk about it, but due to the time, like you see the biomass that we are talking about. So we are not talking about bagas, we are not talking about something which is otherwise going as animal fodder. This is just the lowest form. And when you actually evaluate and use all your modern agricultural thing, we have estimated that you can set up these plants in a cluster of village form. I know we talked about Pura. Abdul Kalam sir talked about Pura, providing urban facilities in rural ambience. How do you do that? How do you valorize? How do you go and not allow them that somebody else will make the briquette and they don't get any value and therefore they're ready to just throw it away? If you are able to convert, their valorization can become almost 50% of the value that otherwise they get is from the crop and harvesting. A huge, I would say, transformational. If you are able to generate hydrogen in every 50 square kilometer using the locally available biomass, using this technology, then all your aspects of the climate change and meeting the energy needs without importing a drop of oil can be done. And I'm not talking, my dear friends, I'm not giving you any story. I'm talking that this is a reality. I had a meeting just about 3 weeks back when we celebrated 75 years of my another guru, Dr. Kakodkar. And I made this statement, this is what, and there are about 1,000 farmers in Ratnagiri district in Maharashtra. We talked about this particular technology. Again, this is a flow sheet of this technology, which I won't get into the details, but this shows that you need a technology. Let us not say technology is important. As the quality of the biomass goes down and down, your quality of technology has to be risen high so that the lowest form of the biomass can be converted to the highest value that you can do it. So in conclusion, my dear friends, decarbonize fossil into hydrogen and carbon for energy materials will meet the twin challenges of the world, and particularly my country, India. Hydrogen from coal gasification and surplus renewable is the way forward. Hydrogen is in the form of methanol. Let's debate methane or any compressed or a liquid organic. And carbon capture will happen terrestrially using not sequestration. I know the kind of, with our US counterparts, we used to have literally when geological sequestration and India's basalt was put up. I have published 2 papers in Nature on this, but I'll not get into that. But today, I take that carbon dioxide, use hydrogen from the solar energy, because you cannot store solar energy in the large batteries or a pump storage. Hydrogen is the best way through a water electrolysis. Palladium-based water electrolysis will allow you to store hydrogen, because hydrogen is one of the cheapest, because it's got the highest energy intensity. 1 kg of hydrogen contains 33 kilowatt hours, or equal to about 5.8 liters of gasoline. So because hydrogen is a storage, you convert that into electrolysis and fuel cell will generate back. This is something, yeah, I think I'll conclude it. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity, and apologies for taking a little more time than what was allotted to me. Thank you.